Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Bound for Glory series, Bound for Glory pay-per-view, and an interview from James Storm on Extreme Pro Wrestling Radio, that airs at 100.3 FM KFan in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And you can catch them on their Twitter account at EPWR Radio. And the host is Big D and Crisco and Tim. And recently, according to the interviews, recently tweeting with a certain rattlesnake about sharing beers. And what does one chat with Stone Cold about? You know, we talked beer drinking, road stories, coming up in the business. You know, he did a lot of his stuff in the South. He did a lot of stuff in Memphis with USWA and stuff like that. So he's good friends with Dutch Mantel, one of his mentors. That's James Storm that we're talking about. So they did a lot of things in common. They sat there and shot the poo. Don't want to use the other word. Crap. If you could change one thing about your character or your persona in the ring, what would it be? He was asked. I am not really sure. I still get held back a little bit, but I can do out in the ring. I wish I could be a little more me. How does James Storm holding the TNA title change things for TNA, or how with the belt would you handle being in the locker room leader? I'd head out to the first strip club I seen and sit there and party down with them. You know, I think it was Rick Rude who said he went to the strip club with the title and was over like Rover. I can relate to a lot of wrestling fans, you know, and a lot of them are blue-collar workers who go out to a great show on Saturday or Friday night and just get out and take their kids. TNA is a very, very big on fan experience and interaction. He was asked, what is your best worst story regarding fan experience? I actually had a girl come to a show that had double F's. She wanted me to sign my entire name on them. But there was some hair on them. I guess that's the best and the worst. Now, you know how to do the big old movies? Well, that was some big old movies. Double F's. If you could have one more tag team run, who would you reform America's Most Wanted or Beer Money Inc.? Which would it be and why? And he's quoted by saying, I'm not really for sure on that. I mean, both partners did their thing, and it worked out well with them both. I don't have anything bad to say about either of them. When we were together, they performed like we need them to. For me and Chris, that's Chris Harris, for those that don't know, we're better friends than I think that he and Bobby was. And he said, me and Bobby didn't really travel too much together. Me and Chris, when we first started TNA, we grew up. We started up. We were all each other had. So we had to rely on each other, and we traveled with each other. So as far as a brotherhood, I say Chris, because I really enjoyed the matches me and Bobby put together, especially against the machine guns. And you can hear from more of the interview with Cowboy James Storm. He talked how to prepare for his battle with Bobby Roode and what happened if King Mo gets in the way of Bound for Glory. Listen and like at Facebook.com/Extreme Pro Wrestling Radio. And Diva Dirt interview with TNA Knockout Tara. and it can be viewed at diva-dirt.com. And it's stating that on TNA putting more effort into knockout storyline and her storyline with Brooke Tessmacher. She's commenting by saying, "I think that's a testament to Dave Lagana, who was the beginning of my career in WWE with storylines, and Bruce Pritchard too, who was always part of the creative. I think Lagana took us, the girls division, under his wing and really been putting a lot of thought in it, not just throwing us out there to have 2-minute matches. We have good creative staff, Bruce Pritchard, Eric Bischoff, Dave Lagana. We have a good team. It's exciting. They see how well ratings are excelling and how valuable the knockouts are. I'm thankful that we have Dave Lagana." And she's going on by saying, she was asked about who her Hollywood boyfriend is. Well, that was unveiled during the pay-per-view later on. She says it's going to be a big surprise, a big deal. I'll be honest, you'll be familiar with who he is. I'm excited. I'm biting my tongue not to say anything. He's super dreamy. I can't wait for you guys to see him. And she goes to comment on former WWE diva Jillian Hall recently having a TNA tryout. Who do you think got her that tryout? I went to Al Snow. I said, "Why is it Jillian wrestling? She's an amazing wrestler." And he goes, "But does she still want to wrestle?" I called her and said, "Hey, do you want to come to TNA?" And she said, "I don't know. How is it there?" I said, "It's amazing." And I gave her Al Snow's number. The next thing I know, I get the call saying I've got a match against Jillian at the next show. Of course, I want to see her in TNA. She's amazing. She's got good ring presence, is a tight, solid wrestler. And we're really pleased with her wrestling too. I hope she gets signed. Efren Boherquez attended a TNA Hall of Fame event on Saturday in Phoenix, Arizona, sending in the following report. And the meet and greet. Met a very nice group of people from Connecticut who came out, not only for BFG, but for WrestleMania 26 here in Phoenix a few years back. In terms of the VIP package they bought for both events, TNA's meet and greet beats WWE's by leaps and bounds, and WWE's M&G for Mania. You could take pictures of the wrestlers, but not pictures with the wrestlers. What's the point then? TNA's roster was incredibly friendly, and you could take pictures with them. Of course, they charge $20, but you can still take pictures with them. When this group met AJ Styles this weekend, he had a rule: he could not take a picture with a replica belt from another company. They told me of a house show back a few years ago when TNA World Champion. He was a TNA World Champion, and they brought their WWE ECW belts into the ring to take the $20 picture with them. He said, "You know what you have to do, right?" The guy immediately put his WWE ECW belts down, and AJ handed him the real TNA World Title belt to wear in the picture. As the guy was reminding AJ about the story, security tried to rush them along, and AJ said, "It's cool. He's a good friend of mine." That was only the only problem they had today. Jeff Hardy had the longest meet and greet wait today. It was about on Saturday, 30 minutes. Dixie Carter went around with a meet and greet, taking pictures, thanking the fans. And people told Dixie that she runs her meet and greet much better than WWE. Dixie responded, "Thank you. We try." She then said in so many words that it wasn't and isn't right what Vince did when it comes to his meet and greets. That's not how you run a business. These fans said that they got more in a day from TNA than they ever got in their entire week at the WrestleMania with their WrestleMania packages. The fans went on to say that they've been watching and they haven't watched in months. There's no meaning to it. Cage matches where a guy is thrown into a cage 10 times, but not a trickle of blood comes out. Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, Hell in a Cell to end a feud. All of these used to have a purpose. Now they are all just their own standalone pay-per-views. Hall of Fame dinner and an induction. A variety of the roster was introduced to the audience. All who had one of them sitting at their banquet table. Ladies were instructed to control themselves as Earl Hebner came out. Bully Ray spent quite a bit of time away from the table talking to another table for about 10 minutes, leaving his table alone while making the other table laugh. Once he got back to his table, they were laughing as well. Hall of Fame ceremony starts officially and gets underway at 8:20 p.m. Jeremy Borash introduced the main table, who come out all at one time. Mike today, AJ Styles, Lex Luger, who got a half standing ovation as he limped in. Looking quite good, according to the reporter. Hulk Hogan, Dixie Carter, and Sting to round off the full table. I wonder if they had the aces and eights in their hands. As Hogan talked in his previous sex tape, they don't know how to play cards. Well, Borash sent his best out to Bob Ryder, and they spoke about how he first met Sting. To him, Sting is a real hero. Why? He is a great father to his kids, and his love for his family shows. A few more accolades, and Mike Tenay is introduced. Tenay said that he can't wait for tomorrow, and it's such an honor to be here. Tonight celebrated the icon and a milestone for the company, 10 years. He offered big thanks to Dixie Carter and her family for believing in TNA. Sting's commitment is part of the reason we are all here tonight. Today reflected back on the first Clash of the Champions, Sting versus Ric Flair, which put Sting on the map. Fast forward to WCW's final match, and again, it's Sting versus Ric Flair. When it came down to WCW, Sting was the man. Today went through a list of opponents: Jeff Jarrett, Abyss, Kurt Angle, Main Event, Mafia, Hulk Hogan last year, and Aces and Eights this year. Today noted that Sting is a 15-time world champion and introduced a video tribute. The video opened with a Shakespeare quote: "Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them." Jeff Hardy spoke about when he was young and reached out to touch Sting's shoulder. As a fan, he walked to the ring. He knew he wanted to do this. Hardy said regarding Sting, "Greatness is the defining word." Bully Ray said that Sting deserves iconic status. When you talk about the top 10 of all time, you've got to talk about Sting. Hulk Hogan said he is the basis for all that happens in the wrestling business. Today said that Sting has always been there for TNA, and has noted that Sting is the only NWA, WCW, and TNA World Heavyweight Champion in wrestling history. Borash next introduced AJ Styles, who boasted, "Man, I'm ready to wrestle right now," after watching that. After thanking the fans for being here tonight, he spoke about tonight's inductee, a real-life superhero. Who was this guy, and how he saw on TV. AJ wanted to know and wanted to meet him. "This hero of mine is now the coolest comic book movie guy character I have ever seen." Styles spoke about his time in WCW and how the company needed hot young talent, and he wasn't it. He was working in security at the time, And one day in catering, he was mesmerized by Sting, who was sitting next to Lex Luger, and another world champion, David Arquette, but that's a different story. Fast forward to 2003, when the locker room found out Sting was coming to TNA, and Styles' had morale instantly shot up. Styles finally met him at the asylum, and for all the times that you've heard never to meet your heroes because they might disappoint you, this was not one of those times. Sting was everything he thought his hero would be. Come 2009, AJ got to wrestle him at Bound for Glory. Styles said he would never forget that night, looking directly at Sting, and he said, "You're an icon, but for different reasons. Your faith is in Jesus Christ, your athletic ability, and for the father that you are to your kids. You are an icon for everything you are outside the ring as well. Thank you for being you and making me the man I am." Truly a touching story that came right from the heart. Extremely well given speech. Jeremy Borash introduced Lex Luger, who stood up from the main table, but did not go up to the podium. A microphone was handed to him, and he started talking about the moment he found out that he would be at Sting's Hall of Fame induction. What he would say to his best friend. Luger referenced a wooden fish ornament on the podium with a Bible verse from, I believe, Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Luger recalls how he went when he was first saw the Stinger Splash and Scorpion Death Drop. He thought, "Man, this guy has good stuff." Luger said when he first met Sting in the locker room, he was so nice, and Luger was so not nice. Sting tells him, "I admire your physique. What's your nutritional program?" Luger, lacing up his boots while never looking up, responded, "Beer, cheeseburgers, a peanut, M&Ms." And he said Sting walked away from the meeting shaking his hand. As the years went on, Luger said Sting taught him more and more about eating and training. Luger then referenced the only 5-star match in his career, he and Sting versus the Steiner brothers, as they traveled and hit the gym together. Luger said that when his career was sputtering, Sting would put a call into the brass to get things going for him again. Luger then admitted to getting angry after Sting found Jesus. Sting didn't want to go to the same places he did anymore, and his newfound faith made them distant. Nevertheless, Sting never stopped being a close friend to him, even when he didn't return the favor. Then to get the motorcycle accident occurring. It was 3 a.m. in the morning. Lex was in the hospital. Who was the first person to see him? Sting was right there. Knowing he was dehydrated, Luger saw Sting grab a cloth soaked with water and squeeze it above his mouth so water could drip down his throat, and then he would have a drink. Luger got choked up at this point, and the audience knew the helplessness one has at certain moments in their life, and the friends who are there no matter what. Another superb, touching story. Luger went on to say, while after the accident, he was despondent and at a low in his life. Sting called on a regular basis, leaving a message that started with, "Lex, I know you're not going to answer," but Luger then says Sting left him motivational messages to let him know that he was there for him. Luger said that he is saved now, and he and Sting are reunited by God. The joy in Sting's face could not be hidden as he saw that God had Luger's life transformed. Luger then referenced the time he was paralyzed in Stanford Hospital when the doctor said there was no way he would ever walk again. Not knowing where he was or what had happened, the staff informed Lex that he has a phone call. How did he know where I was? Luger asked. Lex gave Sting the fish ornament decoration with the Bible verse on it and finished by saying, "You are my friend, my brother in Christ, and I love you so much." They embraced to a standing ovation from the crowd. Next up, Jeremy Borash introduced Hulk Hogan, who said, "In my heart, I know who he is. You don't know how great you really are. Sting is so great, no matter who he makes that opponent." Then Hulk spoke about Hulkamania, and during his heyday, Vince McMahon brought up Sting as a possible opponent for Hogan in WWF. Hogan said he was excited because he could make tons of money with Sting. But, oh crap, he could also take his spot. Hogan couldn't figure out why Sting was so loyal to and true to himself and WCW. Why wouldn't he come to New York to make lots more money? Because that's who Sting is, he said. Hogan spoke of wrestling Sting in the ring. He said working with Sting is so easy, and that he could do this for 20 more years. Hogan described Sting as loyal, dedicated, and the reason TNA is up on a pedestal that he is on, that's who I want to be at the time and end of the day. Brother, I love you for who you are. Everyone in this room can trust you, and that's what I love about you. It just didn't have the emotional substance that Styles and Luger had. A bit too much Hogan and not enough Sting. And then Borash introduced Dixie Carter. She did her little thing. And then finally, Sting spoke. He spoke about how a 6'2" white basketball player isn't going to make it. So he isn't going to do that. He pointed to Hulk and told him he loves him. He said he still feels like it's yesterday when they were calling him the kid from Venice Beach, California. Sting acknowledged Ric Flair for the first clash, saying it was a 45-minute uninterrupted match on television. He could have made me or broken me. He made me that night. Thank you, Rick. He moves on to talk about how the times have changed. He needed a new character. He referenced Scott Hall, giving him some advice, and in a well above average Scott Hall imitation. You should put some face on and just be mysterious. The crowd had a good laugh. Sting referenced the biggest match of his career, Starrcade 97 versus Hogan. He referenced Macho Man Randy Savage, saying that during that time, Macho, in his trademark voice, "Ooh yeah," feel like I have to play a different character every night of the week. March 2001 arrived. WCW is out of business. What is he going to do? Thank God for second chances, and he met the Jarretts at the asylum. Enter Dixie Carter. He referenced his notes, which he said, "Only 1 year, ha ha ha." Sting referenced his meetings with Creative and how he was puzzled. You guys talked to Dixie, right? A few chuckles. Sting closed by saying, "Thank you for sticking by me and second chances. Dixie, Hulk, Rick, Lex, Eric Bischoff, whom I appreciate a ton, no matter what you read on the internet. Spike TV, thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, fans. AJ, Mike, my God, Kurt Angle, points. I'm honored. God bless each and every one of you for all these years." The crowd stood in approval. And Dixie Carter come back on the stage and said this is the first Hall of Fame ever. They wanted to give him a watch. Yes, she knows it's superficial. But what's in our heart is what matters. Thank you. And who's ready for a few more years? The crowd applauded in approval. Pictures were taken of the main table. The entire roster was shown. Dixie stuck around to thank the fans, but much upper talent were whisked away quickly to the back curtain. Final thoughts: a decent, intimate Hall of Fame dinner ceremony that was worth $125. But you could have done much worse. I was hoping that they would have an opportunity to take a picture with Sting, even for a price. Everybody's got a price with a stinger. But that wasn't an option, even an option. Security was close, but not too close, 20 feet away to any table that had a knockout sitting there. What surprised me the most is that no one had prepared remarks. Didn't even see a teleprompter or a few presenters or Sting look down for more than 2 seconds. No, real pre-written speech was given. All these were from the heart. All mentions of Ric Flair, making him not one reference was made to JR, Jim Ross, or Tony Schiavone, the announcer for WCW. Is that wrong? Al Snow could not have been nicer to me. For the most part, those on the roster management that you go to talk to were quite friendly. And now for your results for Bound for Glory. From Phoenix, Arizona, Grand Canyon University Arena. Show opened with graphics that read, the greater the difficulty, the greater the glory. The audio track that had to be turned up, but it was quickly as Bound for Glory video played, and it included comments from Austin Aries, Rob Van Dam, Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, and Gail Kim. Mike Tna and Taz welcome the viewers to the company signature event. They hyped the main event and Sting, Bully Ray versus Aces and Eights match, having the no disqualification stipulation added by the Hulkster. Ring announcer Christy Hemme introduced the entire night. Match number 1, Zema Ion versus Rob Van Dam for the X Division title. Live crowd was hot for the RVD and was into chanting along. I myself caught the match mid-match to see the outcome with a new first champion. But the results are Van Dam jumped out to a fast start and pointing routine without it coming back to haunt him. Ion came back with a good tornado DDT and followed up by a top rope, shoving him off the top rope to the floor. Ion preferred a wild flip over the top rope and landed on Van Dam. RVD came back with throwing Ion into the air and catching with a drop kick to the chest on the way down. Cool move. RVD followed up with a rolling thunder and connected with a 5-star rock splash for the win. 8-minute, 5-second match. Good opener. It really would have been a good fit on a free preview show. The live crowd was hot for RVD. And the energetic match would have been a nice lead into the pay-per-view. It definitely worked as an opening match. I'm not a fan of RVD. I'm a fan of RVD winning the X Division title because he's a high flyer. I wonder if they'll strip RVD of the title due to the weight limit issues. It could happen. Well, they wouldn't have put him in a match. Whatever. It wouldn't make any sense. So they had Samoa Joe. He's over 300 pounds. He was in the X Division. So, speaking of Samoa Joe, he was in the second match. As Jeremy Borash conducted a brief interview with Brutus Magnus. So you got Samoa Joe versus Magnus for the TV title. This is the only belt that did not change hands. After 5 minutes of a good action, Joe applied the STF. Magnus crawled toward the ropes, but Joe hooked his other arm. Magnus cried out in pain as he shifted his body so that he could reach the ropes with his legs. Nicely done. Live crowd seemed to suspect that was the finish before Magnus changed positions. 7 minutes, 10 seconds in the match. Magnus caught Joe standing on the second rope. Caught him with a good knee to the chop. Magnus performed a top rope elbow drop and got a 2 count. The live crowd chanted for Joe as he got back to his feet, fired up, and threw a series of punches at Magnus. Magnus went for a clothesline, but Joe ducked and caught him in a near rear naked choke. Magnus pushed off the ropes, but Joe held on. Magnus had Joe pinned despite being locked in the hole, but Joe kicked out. At 9 minutes in, Magnus went for the figure 4, but Joe countered with a rear naked choke in the middle of the ring and gets the tap out victory. 9 minutes, 10 seconds total of the match. Good match with a receptive crowd. Joe was really over. Magnus got the heat, even if a crowd isn't familiar with him. Though this seemed to be, I wish I cared about the TNA TV title. Having the title on Joe is definitely a step in the right direction for the silly strap. Because later on, you will find out why I'm commenting on that. Because the former TV champion is back in TNA. Backstage, JB interviewed Bobby Roode, who said James Storm had never beaten him. Roode recalled beating Storm at Lockdown. He said Storm took his ball and went home after that. He said after he beat Storm again and ends his career tonight, Storm will be going home forever. The video recapping Storm and Roode drama and King Mo's addition as a special referee. Match number 3, Storm versus Roode in a street fight with King Mo Lawal as special referee. To me, I see no point in him even being there. King Mo came out wearing his robe, crown, and MMA gloves. He was wearing his MMA shorts with BFG t-shirt underneath. Mo's gear seemed out of place again. Storm had a welt on his chest. Earl Hebner worked as a referee early in the match. Roode and Storm fought to ringside. Storm set up the Eye of the Storm with the intention of putting Roode through the announcer's table. But Roode steps out. The announcer's table had a glass, probably plexiglass, top, and isn't the type of table one would expect to see at ringside. There's like several wrestlers that just, when they got on it, they bounced off of it. Roode catapulted Storm into the ring post. Storm bladed big around 4 minutes 20 seconds in the match when he hit the ring post. Roode pulled out weapons from underneath the ring and threw them inside. Roode worked him over with punches and a chair jab to the gut. Back inside the ring, Storm grabbed a kendo stick and struck Roode. He also set up a trash can between Roode's legs and slammed it with a kendo stick. 7 minutes 15 seconds in, Storm was bleeding to the point that Ric Flair would be proud. He DDT'd Roode on the tall ramp that leads to the ring. Storm took a crutch from a fan and used it as a weapon. Storm charged at Roode, who countered with a spine buster on the ramp. Taz attributed it to being blinded by his own blood and said that happened to him during his own career. Nice call. The brawl continued at ringside. Storm grabbed a glass of beer from a fan, took a swig, and splashed some of it on his blood-soaked face. Very smart. Clean your wounds. Storm put Roode on the top plexiglass table again and went up there with him. However, Roode speared him off that table and through the traditional table that was set up next to it for the Spanish announce team. Loud holy shit, and this is awesome chance broke out. Roode went for a pin inside the ring and only got a 2 count. Roode set up with Hebner about his count, was upset about Hebner not counting fast enough and shoved him into the corner. King Mo enters the ring and shoved Roode into a code breaker from Storm. Storm followed with a last call super kick for a 2 count. That one, it was more that the last call super kick barely even got to his chest. It was like to the side for that. Well, anyways, Roode sold it by checking his teeth. Nice touch, assuming he was just selling, because Storm only got him in the chest. Roode came back and set up Storm on the top rope. Roode went to ringside, searched under the ring until he finally found a chair. Roode slammed the chair over Storm's back. Roode pulled out a bag and poured thumbtacks inside the ring. The live crowd cheered. Roode went for a superplex, but Storm fought off and with headbutts and pushed him off the ropes and onto the tacks. Storm followed up with a top rope elbow and got a cover, but only got a 2 count at 15 minutes 50 seconds in. Roode caught Storm with a low blow, and Taz quickly pointed out that it was legal due to the match stipulations. The camera focused on the tacks stuck in Roode's back. Roode brought Storm's beer bottles inside the ring, but Storm caught him with a low blow of his own. Storm grabbed one of the bottles and slammed it over the head of Roode. Crowd chanted, "One more time, one more time." Storm picked up Rude, who had a small cut on his forearm, jawed at him, and then dropped him with a last call super kick on the tacks. Storm covers as Earl Hebner counted to 1, 2, 3. Match took 17 minutes and 25 seconds. Hell of a brawl. The live crowd loved it. It's long enough that we've seen. It's been long enough since we've seen thumbtacks in TNA. I didn't immediately groan when they were poured in the ring. King Mo didn't add anything to the match. Like I said, I don't even know why it was there. It's just a brief spot. He did help Hebner hold up Storm's hand afterwards and had some good reactions that from the camera picked up. Okay with that. Since this was a blow off, at least for now, of a long feud that never involved him. Storm and Rude deserve the match of the night. Credit for delivering a brawl that felt like it belonged in the company. Biggest show of the year. Backstage, Jeremy Borash interviewing Joey Ryan, who noted that they were on the West Coast, meaning that he has the home field advantage. Video recapping the Joey Ryan story and Al Snow feud. Ryan didn't come off as undercard with his promo. He came off a little more serious than he regularly does, and as usual, makes his usual faces. Match number 4, Al Snow versus Joey Ryan. This was another big surprise and the pay-per-view return of a former TNA talent. Snow wore a tank top and long pants, even though that he appeared to be in good shape for a guy his age. The fans chanted, "You've still got it," as Snow, 90 seconds into the match, when he hadn't really done anything other than drop his hands and knees to taunt Ryan by giving himself up in that position. And by the way, he did come down with the, "What does everybody want?" head, mannequin head. So, okay. All right, Taz noted that Snow trains a lot of the younger guys and doesn't have ring rust. He can still go, Taz said. Some of the live crowd liked Snow, but Ryan struggled to get heat early on. 6 minutes in the match, Snow motioned for head. A small portion of the crowd responded, "What does everybody want?" I guess it's a horny crowd, Taz said. Show went to ringside and pulled out the head for a nice pop. Back inside the ring, the referee stopped Snow from using head. Ryan struck Snow from behind and the ref was bumped. Ryan picked up head and kissed it. Funny spot. He went for the slide kick on Snow at ringside. But Snow went finally on him, Finley on him, by pulling out the ring apron skirting. Snow celebrated at ringside with head. Matt Morgan showed up out of nowhere and drilled Snow with a carbon footprint. Snow was rolled back in the ring, where Ryan covered him for the win. Joey Ryan defeated Also in 8 minutes 25 seconds and earned his TNA spot. After the match, Morgan entered the ring, stood over Snow and jawed at him. "I'm back, motherfuckers," as he said. "Motherfreakers." Morgan said without a mic, as Morgan was playing to the camera. Remember, on his Twitters, he's going tick-tock, tick-tock, but there's your answer. He ain't going back to WWE. Ryan ran over and hugged Morgan's leg. Ryan put his hand out and Morgan shook it. But he actually looked like he was about to pop him one. Ryan played to the camera. And then he and Morgan had formed a new tag team. So look for them to get some type of TV time. Who has more ink work on his arms now? Jawed into the camera. I knew Ryan would go over in some type of interference, but I didn't know it was going to be Matt Morgan. That was unexpected. Well, so good job for a good storyline on that. But he was for the last month at house show events, live events for TNA. Backstage, Jeremy Borash interviews Christopher Daniels and Kazarian about their three-way tag dance. The video set up the tag title match. TNA ran through the tag lines for the match. And I predicted this one right. So you get Daniels and Kazarian versus AJ Styles and Kurt Angle versus Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Hernandez in a triple threat tag title match. Taz said Chavo and Hernandez might have the home field advantage since the show was being held in the Southwest, and overzealous Wes Briscoe was shown cheering for Angle in the front row. Styles wore a pink ribbon on his gear for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which he has done in the past. The live crowd was flat early on, and Styles sold for both teams. Chavo had his shoulder heavily taped. The crowd remained quiet even after Styles checked in and out again, and he checked in again. Though Styles did get some applause for his offense, Angle checked in and hit both tag champs with the German suplexes at 9 minutes 35 seconds in. Angle ran up the ropes and suplexed Kazarian off the top and onto Daniels in mid-ring. Nice enhancement of Angle's usual spot. The wrestlers took turns hitting big moves on one another. Hernandez hit his dive over the top onto Daniels, creating the super mix. Kazarian went for a hurricanrana off the ring apron on Hernandez, but he fell hard on his side to the floor. And this basically sets up the finish. The announcers immediately questioned whether he broke his shoulder, and Daniels crawled over to check on his partner at 12 minutes 35 seconds in. Angle hits the Angle slam on Chavo in mid-ring. Angle went to the ropes, but Hernandez was there and set up Angle for a border toss, but Styles came in and tagged Angle. Styles and Angle performed double suplexes on Hernandez. Kazarian returned to the ring at 13 minutes 35 seconds. Showed no signs of injury. Daniels hit the BME on Styles. That's the best moonsault ever for a 2 count. For those that don't know, you better call somebody. Chavo went to the top rope, and Daniels waited to act like he was just too late to stop him. It looked bad. Chavo dove on to Kazarian on the floor. Meanwhile, back in the office, Daniels cleared Styles from the ring, only to take a shoulder block from Hernandez. Hernandez performed a good-looking border toss on Daniels, and then Chavo immediately followed up with a frog splash for the win in the titles. 15 minutes 35 seconds for that match. After the match, Christy Hemme interviewed Chavo and Hernandez on the ramp. Chavo said that as long as they were in the Phoenix, that was for Eddie, and he pointed to the sky. There was mixed reaction to the title change, with a lot of boos included. Chavo won them by bringing up his late uncle afterwards. I'm critical of Chavo. Okay, no, I'm not. He's still remembering Eddie. Rest in peace. But Eddie's birthday was last week, and he is buried in the area. That being said, I'm a great fan of title change. I don't think fans were exactly clamoring for Chavo and Hernandez to win the titles. But it's just part of wrestling. You can read between the lines, folks. It's a setup. Video setup. TNA Knockout title match. Miss Tessmacher versus Tara for the TNA Knockout title. Tara came out by herself on the No Hollywood Boyfriend yet. He wasn't introduced until after the match. The camera focused on the TNA British boot camp contestants who were sitting in the crowd. Taryn Terrell was a referee again. They also had a guest timekeeper, not knowing who she was. She was just introduced from a local radio station. After a stare down between the champion and the challenger led to physicality, Terrell called for the bell to start the match. Terrell was in control early on. Tessmacher came back and didn't get much of a reaction for her offense at 5 minutes 30 seconds in. There was some dueling chants for both women. Tessmacher missed a missile drop kick. Terrell hit the widow's peak on Tessmacher and pinned her for the win. Match took 6 minutes 10 seconds. Terrell handed Tara the title belt. Tara clutched the belt as Terrell gave her instructions about something. Tara grabbed a mic and said that the fans probably think she did it for them, but she really didn't. She said that she did it for her boyfriend and said that fans may have seen him on TMZ. She introduces her boo, Jesse from Big Brother, who's been training. I believe it's Jesse Goddard's or something like that. What I was thinking of. Jesse made his debut entrance and received no reaction from the crowd whatsoever. While Taz tried to play it up like he's a big deal. You know way too much about this guy. Taz said once Jesse arrived in the ring, he and Tara made out. A couple of kisses here and there. He put the title around her waist and raised her hand. Tna said that they should go do something important. Footage aired from the TNA Hall of Fame. Give it up for Johnny Fairplay, who was right by his Twitter prediction. Tna and Taz spoke about how honored they were to be a part of Sting's induction to the Hall of Fame. Video recapping. The Aces and Eights drama and included footage of Shaquille O'Neal saying that he's got Hogan's back when he just disappeared the rest of the night. Sting entrance played to the fired up crowd. Sting and Bully Ray entered the ring together. Sting wore a Bully Ray t-shirt and Ray wore an old school Sting face paint. The face paint was really nice touch. The Aces and Eights music played. Two of their members dragged Joseph Park to the ring through the crowd with them. Once at ringside, they handcuffed a rough-looking Park to the guardrail. One of the Aces and Eights punched him, which led to Ray and Sting racing to ringside to begin the brawl. Match number 7, you got that match. As all four men brawling at ringside, the announcers were quiet for a few seconds. Sorry, Taz, for some reason. Sting missed a stinger splash at ringside and crashed into the guardrail at one point. The four participants took it to the ring and settled into a typical tag match approach. The Aces worked over Sting. He came back and applied a Scorpion Deathlock on the bigger of the two men. My prediction was probably Luke Gallows or whichever. However, the second man ran in and struck Sting from behind. Ray played cheerleader in the corner while waiting for a tag. Ray checked in and worked over both Aces. The Aces came back, but Ray took both of them down with a double clothesline. One of the Aces grabbed a chair and tried to use it on Ray, but he caught him with a kick to the face. Another Ace ran in from the crowd and low-blowed Ray. That's 3 guys. 3 versus 2 again, handicap match. The man spat at Park, who went RoboCop on the bit and broke the handcuffs. Yep, that's a Park. Joseph Park broke the handcuffs. And the crowd cheered as Park entered the ring and eventually fought the extra Ace to the back. 8 minutes 35 seconds in, Ray hoisted up one of the Aces and Eights on the shoulders and tagged Sting. So we get the Doomsday device, who then clotheslined the man off of Ray's shoulders as Sting. The announcers noted that it was a Road Warriors move. Like I said, it was a Doomsday device minus the flip from the guy taking it. Sting told Ray to get the tables, and Ray obliged by going around the ring, underneath the ring to get the table. Set it up in the middle of the ring. However, the other Ace pulled Sting out to the floor from ringside. Meanwhile, another Aces and Eights member showed up and performed a one-arm slam on Ray through the table, and one of the aces and eights pinned him in the ring to end the match. 10 minutes, 30-second match. So we get more aces and eights. Additional aces and eights members hit the ring. 5 of them worked over Sting. Hogan's music played, and he comes out. Baseball bat. I don't even remember he came out with a baseball bat. He just did his normal, pulled ahead, pop, like three guys knocking them down. And then he ripped off his shirt and headed to the ring, where only one member of Aces and Eights was remaining. And here's your find out who it is. Hogan pointed at the man and then nose-holed his punches. Hogan threw punches of his own and hit him with a big boot to the chest. Hogan motioned to the crowd to remove the mask. Sting held the man, and Hogan removed the man's glasses to reveal Devon of Team 3D, the former TV champion, who's only been gone about three weeks to a month. Hogan looked shocked. Ray looked up and looked equally surprised. Apparently, Hogan, Sting, and Ray were so shocked that they just let Devon leave the ring. Devon said it was always him. How you feel now? Devon asked. Ray asked him the same thing from the ring. Devon and the other aces left in the crowd while Hogan, Sting, and Ray looked there dumbfounded. Tna and Taz sold the Devon reveal at ringside. Tna said that the door has been opened for anarchy because now the door is wide open for aces and eights. Devon? Well, like I said, surprised me. I never speculated that he would be any type of member of the group, but I have revealed that him and Bully Ray have trained some of the Aces and Eights members in their Team 3D Academy Wrestling School. The live crowd seemed rather ho-hum about the reveal. Backstage, JB said the main event was up next. He brought in a double who said he's going to beat Hardy using anger. He said Jeff Hardy has never seen an angry Aries. Then said maybe he did when he kicked him in the balls and dropped him on his head. He said this won't be Hardy's redemption song. A video set up the main event. Jeff made his entrance for the main event wearing where he removed a red mask, then showed off the black and white face paint. This kind of looked like a Skeletor mask with bones, kind of like the thing from the Fantastic Four. Hardy played to the crowd on the ramp and got a great reaction, going around ringside, slapping more hands. A double made his entrance, and he has his supporters as well. But Hardy had the more popular of the vote from the crowd. JB handled the in-ring introduction for the main event. So you get the main event. Aries' chance picked up after the bell sounded. Hardy received a higher pitched John Cena-like "Let's Go Hardy" chant. Aries had Hardy in the corner, and the ref came to break it up. Aries backed away, but Hardy responded with a hard shove. Aries caught Hardy with an arm hold. Hardy broke it by slapping him across the face. Hardy with a lengthy run of offense as the crowd reaction continued to split. Aries came back about 10 minutes in with a run of his own. Aries grew frustrated when he was unable to put Hardy away. The direct TV feed from the event went out. I was watching it online, and it also went out. Cut out for a couple of seconds, and then finally returned. Cut out for a longer stretch, about a minute later, then returned again. The live crowd continued the dueling chants. 12 minutes, 35 seconds in. Aries performed a corkscrew dive over the top rope and landed on Hardy for a close 2. Aries applied a front face lock. Tna said it was all about control. Taz said Aries may be trying to wear him down for the last chancery. Hardy broke free and caught him with a wild move. It looked like he was going for a power bomb, but instead he fell backwards and slammed Aries down face first in the process. Cool move. Hardy performed a Whisper in the Wind at 15 minutes 15 seconds for a 2 count. Hardy missed a dive to the floor a minute later, and then Aries followed up with a great suicide dive. Aries went back to the ring to perform the suicide dive again. Aries rolled Hardy back in the ring. Got a 2 count 17 minutes 25 seconds in. Aries was bleeding around the eye. When he dove, he actually hit his head on the guardrail. Aries applied the last chancery at 18 minutes in, but Hardy got his foot on the ropes to break the hold. They ended up on the ramp. Aries tried to clothesline Hardy over the top rope and back inside the ring, but they didn't pull it off. Aries came right back with a neck breaker on the ring apron, and then performed a missile drop kick back inside the ring. Aries charged at Hardy in the corner, but Hardy put his feet up again at 20 minutes in. They traded punches in the middle of the ring. Aries went for a discus punch, but Hardy avoided it with a twist of fate for a good near fall. Hardy went to the top rope and played to the crowd before going for a swanton. Taz acknowledged that there was a lot of boos. Aries cut off Hardy on the top rope and performed the top rope hurricanrana. Aries performed his brainbuster finisher and went for a cover. It looked more like a regular suplex than it was the actual brainbuster. Hardy kicked out again. Aries put Hardy on the top rope and tried to double foot stop his head, but Hardy moved. He performed a stunner and a twist of fate before going to the top rope himself. Then Hardy nailed the swanton and scored a clean pin. Total match took 23 minutes 10 seconds, and he wins the TNA title. Strong pay-per-view main event. There were some minor hiccups, including Hardy appearing to get caught up in the ropes. Before the finishing sequence, which will prevent it from earning the Match of the Year vote, but it was very entertaining, and it was one of TNA's better pay-per-view main events. They succeeded in delivering a big show main event. The main event was crucial for the show. It felt like a big event early on, but it lost the feel during the middle of the portion of the show. The Devon reveal didn't do much for me. So everyone after Storm versus Rude until the main event didn't pack much of a punch. Fortunately, the main event was good. It was real good and closed the show on a high note. Though I'm sure some of Aries fans will disagree. I don't know if they were going for the CM Punk or John Cena vibe, but I hope they find ways to get away from it, because it's just trying to outdo the other one. One doing outdo the other one. And it just feels like a knockoff. And that ends my report for this Bound for Glory. Peace out. God bless. Just waiting for Monday Night Brawl.